Chapter 1. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Sacrifice and Reincarnation. I sneaked into the underground hideout of the bandits that night, accompanied by 4 other kids my age. We had been tailing these bastards ever since they took everything away from us. Our village was raided by the scum of this world. They killed people indiscriminately, and most of the men that tried to defend us died. Unsurprisingly, they caught most of the women, enslaving them in the process. That night, I was wounded by one of them when I tried to avenge my father. I fell unconscious, and after considering I was dead, they left me behind. But I didn't die, you bastards. My face was scarred, and I also lost my left eye due to it. Unfortunately for you guys, my right eye can see just fine, enough sight to let me slit your throats. Sigh. Mom. Sister. Are you ready? A blonde girl of my age asked me this question. I am. Let's do it. We saw the bandits celebrate outside their caravan, most of them more or less drunk. We bade our time for the perfect opportunity to retaliate, and eventually, it came to us. The night was dark, but they had fires lit to give them some light. However, it was definitely not enough. We sneaked through the shadows as I found my first victim, a lonely bandit. I grabbed my dagger and leaped over his back just as they taught me to do this. Slash. Grug. I covered his mouth before he could make another sound and slashed his throat. His body turned limp a few seconds later. 1 down. I sneaked into the caravan he was protecting, finding 4 slaves caged. They looked at me with surprise. Don't say a word, I whispered. Everyone nodded in response as I took out my lockpick, trying to open their cages as fast as possible. One by one, the slaves stealthily ran into the forest as I made sure no bandit was looking in their direction. After that, I looked at the other side. My partners were doing the same, with 4 other bandits lying dead below the carriages. The slaves inside were in the process of being freed. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't thanks to Teacher. Teacher taught us how to fight, even if we were small and weak. Teacher taught us how to kill. And to never forgive the scumbags of this world. Unfortunately, our plan wasn't perfect. Eventually, a bandit noticed us from afar and alerted the rest. Shit. I ran towards the last caravan while the other 4 began to distract them. And there they were. Nasty, rugged, wearing rags, and even slimmer than when I last saw them. Looking at them a bit more, their eyes seemed tired. My mom and my sister. Mom. Cecilia. They looked at me, but couldn't properly recognize me. My entire face was horrible after all. But my voice. My mother recognized it. Even after 2 years since then. Luna. It's me. I finally found you. There was no time for hugs. I had to free them. Quickly. I took the lockpick, a special magic item that Teacher gave to us. They had the ability to open locks with ease through the use of the unlock spell. I was talentless at magic, but even this spell could be learned after 2 years of practicing. It was just some basic no-attribute magic, after all. Clack. I freed the slaves, including my mother and my sister, their eyes flowing with tears as they hugged me tightly. Big sis. Sniff. I never thought I would see you again. I missed you so much. Luna. I thought. You were dead. No. I came back. I promised you that I would. Enough, we have to go. My mother and sister nodded in agreement as they crawled out of the carriage. Flash. Clash. Suddenly, an arrow appeared right beside us, barely missing my head as it hit the carriage instead. They had archers this good. Escape. Quickly. But don't worry about me. My mother gritted her teeth as she grabbed my 6-year-old little sister, soon running into the forest with the rest of the slaves. I saw 2 corpses of my allies in the ground. The bandits were stronger than us, and definitely had more numbers than us. 2 down already. And they, like me, had also come to free their families. God damn it. I have to stay here. If I run away, they'll chase us down. I have to buy time. Flash. Another arrow soon came and I evaded it. In response, 3 bandits rushed towards me, all 3 of them wielding axes. You bitch. You know how much those slaves cost. Your shitty body ain't gonna sell for that much. I grabbed my daggers tightly, and soon, I shrouded myself in mana. Flash. I leaped towards the one in front of me, evading his axe before using it as support. Then, I jumped over it and his face as I moved behind him. And slashed his throat. 1 down. The other 2 were left aghast by the sight. I used the opportunity to kill them even swifter than before. I jumped over the one in the left and kicked his face. Using my dagger, I stabbed him in the forehead. He died instantly. 2 down. The last one began to tremble as he slashed his weapon against me. I barely evaded the hit and gave him a heel sweep in retaliation. In response, he fell over his butt and that was the end of him as my dagger slashed his throat. I grabbed his shield and defended myself from the upcoming arrow. Clash. Who's firing them? I looked around the carriages and found 2 guys with bows pointed at me. The 2 other members in my party were desperately fighting off several bandits at once. I could leave them to die here while they distract the rest and reunite with my family once more. But I can't. They're my friends, my brothers. I grew up and trained alongside them. With that in mind, I rushed to help them out. However, a bandit with a spear noticed me, throwing the spear he held at me. I used the shield to block it, but the spear got stuck and the shield broke. Shitty garbage equipment. The bandit ran away after that, but I jumped over him and stabbed his head with my dagger 3 times in a row. As his body dropped to the ground with a shriek of agony, I jumped towards my next target. Flash. Sadly, an arrow reached me this time, piercing my back and my left lung. Fuck. Doesn't matter, teacher has countless arrow scars. I'll be fine, I just have to bear with the pain. Luna. Why are you here? I'm not leaving you behind, Antonia. You're crazy. Go with your family. Albert, we'll stick together. We're also family. You. Seeing as there was no way they could sway me, we teamed up and began to massacre the bandits, but they were stronger and had more numbers, way more than 3 kids for sure. Even though I blocked the upcoming arrows as they came, it was apparent that Antonia and Albert were exhausted. Their mana reserves had already gone down, and they were feeling a headache creeping up. However, thanks to our distraction, the bandits had all their attention on us. We were doing a great job, teacher. I moved swiftly as I slashed through the bandits, their muscular bodies couldn't even defend against the strong mithril daggers. Slash. 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 Clash. I killed one by slashing through his head, but another hit me in the back with a sword. A wound in my back emerged as blood splattered everywhere. I finally got you bitch.geggh. However, that wasn't going to kill me. I used my legs, sweeping them as I made him fall. Then, I leaped over his face like a wild beast and started to repeatedly stab him in the face. Die. Luna. Antonia and Albert were barely hanging on. They were getting pushed into the forest. That's good. I'm going to do it. Run. What, are you crazy? Why do you think teacher left this inside our chests? But it's only for emergencies. We can only use it when we're sure to die. Shut the fuck up and go. I roared like a mad wolf. In response, the 2 kids grit their teeth, tears starting to stream out of their eyes. Please, take care of my family. After that, the two ran away without saying a word as two bandits ran behind them. I'm sure they could handle two of them. The other bandits slowly approached me as they left. I had settled fire around me by taking the torches they had. With the ground having very dry grass, it was easy to make a wall of fire, just as teacher taught me. You want to kill me, you bastards? Come closer. You whore. I'm gonna have some fun with you before I kill you. Grab her, quickly. She can barely stand. As they slowly approached me, I smile in response. I infused mana into the crystal in my chest, a special crystal named a mana core bomb. Assassins had one of these to take out their lives before being captured. If you infused mana into it until it's about to crack, it would blow you up into bits, alongside anyone around you. Go fuck yourselves. Boom. A searing pain enveloped me as the explosion consumed almost all the bandits with it. My entire body was torn apart as my consciousness quickly faded away into nothingness. At least, I managed to see them one last time. I was ready to lay my life today. I'm sorry, teacher. Congratulations, you have been chosen for reincarnation. A sudden voice awakened me from my eternal slumber. Soon, I found myself in a completely white space. Then, I looked around. I even looked at my own self, but I saw nothing. I couldn't see anybody either other than pure white. Oh right. I guess you want an image of myself. Flash. Out of nowhere, a tall bearded man greeted me. Who the fuck are you? Where am I? Isn't it easy to guess? Haven't you ever read Isekai novels? What? What are you talking about? The man suddenly examined me before finally understanding. Wait, you're not from Earth. I'm not. Where is that? I think I've committed a grave mistake. I brought the wrong person. Oh no. The man began to walk around nervously, thinking about what to do. The wrong person. Well, your karma count is incredibly high. You have such a large amount of positive karma that it's outstanding. However, I committed a mistake. I was going to reincarnate a competent Japanese high school student. Damn. What? Japanese. Is that some type of food? You really are not from Earth. Ugh, my elders are going to kill me if they know about this bug. Who are you calling a bug? This, ha. Well, I can't really change it anymore. I'll bring another one even if it means I have to use more energy. And about you. Head to that world as well, I guess. Here, take this at the very least. I think this one is flawed, but even a flawed system should help you. It's the first one I created. The man made of white light then handed me something resembling a cube made of silver. It suddenly entered my own faceless head and disappeared. Not long after, a strange shock of electricity covered my whole body. What the hell did you just give me? To see your stats down there, just say, status. Anyways, see ya. Be a good girl and don't interfere with the future hero. Bye. Flash. And just like that, I was gone. I felt as if I finally had a body, but it was drowning in a strange and gooey liquid. Ugh, what the fuck is going on? Where am I right now? I remember that the man said something about reincarnation. Was I going to reincarnate? Am I a baby inside a mother's womb, then? This is certainly something that. Ugh. I feel sleepy. I don't know how long time has passed. But when I gained consciousness once more, I was being pulled out of my liquid prison. It was tight and tough to do, but someone grabbed my head and pulled me out. The first thing I saw was the face of a youthful man with short red hair and blazing orange eyes. Ooh. She's a girl, he said, kissing my forehead. What? Let me see her. Suddenly, I was dragged into a woman. She seemed beautiful, radiant even. Her hair was long and blonde. Also, her ears were pointy, her eyes emerald, green, and her skin pale white. So beautiful. Look, she has your hair color and my eyes. Plus she's a half-elf. Those pointy ears cannot lie to me. Fufufu. Welcome to this world, Sylph. I guess she's my mother. And I guess I have reincarnated. Chapter 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My system is glitched. After a strange entity picked me up by mistake, I was reincarnated as an elf. What's that? In my previous life, I've never heard of elves. There was something similar called fae, but they were definitely not called elves that I wish I could have reincarnated in my own world. In fact, I think this might be a completely different place. Ugh, what a pain. I've been drinking milk non-stop for the last few days. To be honest, my mother never let me go anywhere else. Also, being changed diapers was honestly very embarrassing when you had the mind of a young adult. I looked at my house several times during those times. The insides looked similar to a rustic wooden house, allowing me to come to the conclusion that we were a rural family. Fortunately, I could see through the window sometimes. There were vast fields outside. Tons of greenery even. With that in mind, my father was a farmer, most likely. On the other hand, my mother cooked and cleaned the house while taking care of me. Father usually came after work, usually playing around with me. Then again, I have to admit that he's very handsome. And mother is very pretty as well. I guess I'll become a very beautiful girl in the future. Gay. But I can't move. It's so hard to have a baby's body. I try to roll around over my crib, but even that is hard. Ugh, being stuck in a baby's body is the worst. At the very least. Can I practice magic? Let's see. Magic. I tried to manipulate mana out of my tiny hands in the morning while mother was cooking and father was outside. But surprisingly, nothing came out. What the hell? Where did all my mana training go? Me. Ma. I began trying an incantation sometime later, but nothing came out. At this point in time, my adorable mother got closer to me as she heard me make weird noises. Sylph, what's wrong? Do you want more of Mama's milk? Her massive breasts jiggled a bit as she revealed one of it out in the open before grabbing me, forcing me to drink. No. I don't want more milk. Please make it stop. Yug. Eh. As I try to move away from my mother's breasts, I suddenly remember something. That guy said something about saying the word status before I reincarnated, right? Status. After a while, I managed to say those faint words as a strange projection of some kind of semi-transparent magic emerged in front of me. However, mother didn't seem to be able to see it. Initiating system. Error. Not enough divine energy and divine runes. System failure. Recovering. System failure. Recovering. Success. System has been automatically patched. Error. Attribute values cannot be shown properly. Error. Link between soul and body has failed to be established. Recovering. Success. 1074 errors have been found. Do you wish to fix the errors? It might take an indefinite amount of time. What? What is this thing? And why the hell is it not working that well? I don't even get what a system is, but perhaps it's like an advanced artifact of sorts. However, it has so many errors. And you're telling me it'll take an indefinite amount of time to fix them. Then there isn't even a clear amount of time to when they're going to be fixed. It sounds more like they can't even be fixed to begin with. Errors can be fixed at a later date. Ah. System owner. Sylph Naturia Bravo, level 1 slash hashtag 523A, class. Farmer, HP, 10 tenths, MP, 20 20ths, strength. 4, defense. 3, magic. 50, resistance. 10, agility. 6, luck. 0.10, charm. 20, skills. Royal Elven lineage, agriculture, lesser fire magic. Ember, mana usage, Numbers. And. Skills. What is this thing? I don't get it. Wait, skills as in my abilities. I think that's right. I also have a single magic spell, a lesser fire magic spell named Ember. Then there's mana usage and agriculture and royal elven lineage. Quite odd names for skills. And then the numbers. I guess the higher the better. But what with the shitty luck at 0.10? Why is it in the negatives? Will my life be filled with tragedy? Well, that's not good. I wonder if I can use Ember. Let's see. Ember. I point my hand upwards as a tiny flame came out almost naturally when I willed Ember into my head and visualized it. The flame, however, was so small it was barely visible. Is that it? Poof. And soon, it disappeared. Wow, what a letdown. I feel betrayed. Nevertheless, what are these numbers and their words? Names. Strength means my own physical power. What about HP and MP? I don't know those terms. Then again, they don't seem to be anything I should care about. I used Ember and then checked back my own status, nothing changed. Wouldn't it be better if there was a mana number so I can see how much I spend per Ember? However, no number went down. Well, whatever. Even with this stupid gift, I'm still as weak as a baby. My Ember was so little and momentaneous that Mother didn't even see it. Incredibly pathetic. I wish I could have abilities from my previous life here. Alright, Sylph, it seems you've calmed down. There you go, Mama loves you lots and lots. Now take a nap while Mama cooks for Papa, alright. My mother's very adorable. As she said that, she gave me a loving smile before going back to cook. However, I'm not gonna give up that easily. I'll work hard and become stronger than my previous life. I swear to myself that I won't lose my family to some random-ass bandits. That is my goal. It may be a simple goal, but it's my goal, so deal with it. I can do it. With that, I quickly began rolling around, trying to use mana usage. After a while, mana finally came out. It seems I have to activate stuff through these mysterious skills, or it wouldn't work properly. What a disappointment. Does that mean the spells such as lockpick or mana infusion I used to have cannot be used now? Ugh. I began rolling as mana gathered around my hands. While doing this, I felt like my little body had gotten a bit more agile and a bit more dexterous, but even rolling for a bit was exhausting. I looked at my status and there were no changes either. Will it increase as I grow up? Not even HP or MP increased or decreased either. What are these mysterious numbers? They were different as they showed the same number in brackets. Could it mean that the first number is what I currently have, while the other one is the maximum amount I can have at once? So it's a number showing how much I can use. Like mana in quantities. Wait a second. I finally get it. MP must be mana points. And HP must be health points. Wouldn't it be better if it was like vitality points? Well, whatever. But then why isn't my MP going down? I can shroud myself with mana all I want, and it never runs out. Is my system flawed? I don't get it. Maybe I have more mana than I think I do. Or perhaps even a single point of mana is a lot. Ugh. However, even with this, I feel exhausted, so I ended up falling asleep after rolling and using mana for a while. Meanwhile, the entity that had reincarnated Sylph looked over the world he had sent her into. She reincarnated as a half-elf. Good, it seems she's doing just fine. That's good, good. He began wandering around as he checked her status, though he wasn't able to fully get it. How bad is this system? I should have upgraded beforehand. NNGH. Suddenly, the entity felt his body start to ache, as if a large piece of his power was drawn away permanently. Ack. He fell to the floor as he gasped for air. This system. What did it do? It took a large piece of my power. The entity looked at the girl's status and found something odd. Her stats are frozen. This means the power it took from me was to adapt her body into this status, this frozen status. Soon enough, he realized why. HP and MP cannot go down. Don't tell me. She's. And it was this very moment the godly entity knew the terrifying truth. Chapter 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Heroes. Demon Lord. What's that? Being a baby is definitely difficult. You can't move properly. Your bones are weak and feeble. Even if you roll for just a bit, you easily get tired. On top of that, you can't control your body's functions, hence why you have diapers. Conjuring magic seems a bit too hard for me. Even the skill within this thing named the system is bad. They're so weak. I think I might have worse talent than me in my previous life. Seriously though, what happens after you die? Where do you go? I just got reincarnated because I was chosen by a mysterious thing. But what if I wasn't? In my previous world, people believed in the afterlife, but I really didn't. I didn't believe that souls existed either. I just thought that after you die, you just cease to live and disappear. But it seems that I was wrong. There were people that believed in a god, and others in various gods. Then again, I never had the time to delve deeper into these topics. I had my mother and my sister's lives to save, and little time to train with teacher. Sigh. I don't regret having taken my life if it meant I was able to save them. I don't know why I thought like that, I just loved my family too much to let them die. If I could choose what to do all over again, would have probably done the same thing. Thus, here I am. I actually died and reincarnated as a half-elf baby, in a completely different world, based solely in the concepts I've heard around and the guy that sent me here. Seriously, who was he? If he was capable of doing things such as reviving people or reincarnating them, then was he a being akin to the god or gods they worshipped in my previous life? A being above humans capable of doing things that defy our logic. And he granted me this weird system power as well. Then again, it feels like he was just getting rid of me and his failed creation, the system. Killing two birds with one stone, I guess. With that being said, we're here together, system. Both of us are outcasts that this one bastard didn't want. I guess you can't speak, but you seem to have some sentience and even speak in a strange voice when messages emerge like magic scriptures. Perhaps it has intelligence or something, but since it's damaged, it cannot express itself completely. I wonder how could I fix a system. As it opened up, it said that it had errors, telling me that they could be fixed. But if I fixed more of them, wouldn't that just worsen it? It had already fixed some errors in the process and became worse because of it. So I don't know what could happen. Also, the number of errors there was over 1,000. Is that fine? I don't want to risk it and end up making the system kill me or something along those lines. This thing seems to be stuck to my body. Or soul, I think. I'm already a baby past 4 weeks of age, yet here I am having all sorts of problems. Sometimes, I just wish I didn't have this system with me. Reincarnating by itself was more than enough. Indeed, a month has passed since I was born. In fact, I've been counting the days. To be more exact, 30 days have passed since I was born. My mother and father also spoke about the change of month. Oh, right. For some reason, they speak the same common tongue as my world. However, I'm not sure if I'm in my previous world but just in a faraway region. Though, based on what they talk about sometimes, I'm starting to doubt that possibility. My mother spoke with my father about their adventure around 10 years ago, how they defeated the demon lord, and that they were now able to finally live in peace as simple farmers. What's with that? Demon lord. What's that? Folklore. I heard father said my mother was the holy saint priestess of elves, and my mother one day teased him, calling him the hero of blazing fire. Ha! Were they playing around? Perhaps they were into role-playing. I don't get it. I feel like if I had read those Ice Guy novels that bastard talked about, I might have had an idea as to what was going on. But as of now, I have none. None. Are holy saint priestesses common here? And guys with very strange hero titles? Well. Whatever. I'll figure it out eventually. I'm currently practicing how to talk, but my own throat and mouth cannot muster the proper words. Maybe in a bit more I'll be able to properly talk with my parents. Of course, I won't reveal to them I was a reincarnated person like ever. I prefer them to treat me like their daughter and not a stranger that entered my mother's womb in a whim. Aside from all the difficulties of being a baby, it could be said that I'm having a pretty decent life in my crib. Sometimes mother carries me with her loving embrace and sings elven songs at me, which sound similar to soothing lullabies. Thanks to that, I end up falling asleep pretty fast. As for father, he comes to meet me other times, usually twice or thrice a day after he's done in the farm. Once he's done, he comes play with me. He gently rubs my belly, kisses my forehead, and caresses my hair. On top of that, he's so handsome and nice. I think I'm starting to like this feeling of being spoiled. I think my heart is being slowly healed by these two loving parents. As for training, I have been doing what I can. As a baby, it's very hard. I seem to have HP that doesn't go down, but that doesn't mean I can't get tired. I roll around and I just can't keep going, it is too hard. And magic. I have the natural magic usage skill, which gives me the ability to, well, manipulate mana. And then, I can create ember, a small, finger-sized flame that's weaker than any other fire you could ever think of, probably weaker than a candle fire. But then, out of nowhere, I wondered. What if I conjure ember several times in a row? Wouldn't it cause a panic if I do it inside the house, though? How about when my parents are around? With that, I decided to practice while mother was busy cooking this morning. I created an ember, and then, with some effort and mind put into it, another. And then another, and another, and another. And another. And I ended up making a floating fireball by fusing about 100 little embers. Sylph. Oops, mother found me. Chapter 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oops. After mother noticed my floating fireball, I tried to dissipate the flames. Unfortunately, rather than it being dispelled, it instead became chaotic, spreading all around the place. It was very confusing and honestly, very scary for someone with a baby's body like me. Sylph. Stop. Domain of holy light. Dispel. Seeing what was happening, mother quickly rushed by my side as she suddenly released an aura filled with immense magical properties. Flash. In an instant, everything seemed to take on the color white or gold. It was as if the entire world had turned into that filled with brilliance. After that, she waved her hand as she conjured a blast of magic, easily hitting the flame and making it disappear. Wow! Is my mother incredibly powerful or is it just me? This domain. I feel like it's healing me. I only saw such incredible magic once in my previous life. And that was only because we were accompanied by an amazing sorcerer in exterminating a bandit settlement. Sylphie. As she cried out, she moved closer to me after she dispelled the fireball, grabbing and hugging me tightly. She checked my body rather worriedly. "Are you okay, dear? Are you hurt?" she asked. "Ma." I nodded to her, to which she realized I could understand her words a bit. Don't use magic, alright. You're a baby, you can't use magic yet. You could hurt yourself, you know, she said, reprimanding me. Boo. Hearing that, I could not help but sigh inwardly. She was right. There was a high chance that I could have burned myself there. I should be more careful next time. Sorry, Mother. Just so you know, you're such a sweetheart for forgiving this rascal. Thinking that, I kissed her nose, making her blush a bit. Are you saying sorry, dearie? She asked. I nodded. Ah. My little girl. It's fine. As long as you get it, it's fine, she replied, hugging me before kissing my forehead, nose. Basically kissing me all over my face. I'm pretty sure she feels lonely at times, to the point it's almost overwhelming for her. In any case, I'm happy to have such an expressive and tender mother. She reminds me of my mother in my previous life. In fact, that's the reason why I was willing to save her and give up my life for her. Crash. Sometime later, the entire door opened as my father came rushing in. Phelan. What happened? I sensed your domain emerge all of a sudden. Is Sylphie okay? Father heroically came for my aid, but everything had already calmed down. Mother was more than capable of dispelling a small fireball, surprisingly. Also, my mother's name is actually Phelan. As for my father, his name is. It's fine, Alan. Our girl just showed me a bit of her power and almost set the house on fire. She laughed as she told him what had transpired earlier. Fire. That she inherited my attribute affinity. And I guess I arrived too late, huh? Father sighed as he walked near me and hugged me and Mother. Indeed. She seems very talented. Only a month old yet she already conjured a flawless fireball. Although it turned chaotic at the very last second and I had to hurriedly dispel it. My domain helped in not letting it set the place ablaze, Mother said. Alright, such a competent wife, Father could not help but say. In any case, I reprimanded her for what she did, and she seems to understand. Who knew Sylphie was a very intelligent girl? She even understands what we say and nods, Mother told Father after that. Oh wow. Really? Father asked me. I looked at him and lightly nodded in response. Oh. She's really smart for her age. Mother and Father then began to play around with me while they sat me over the crib. They began to ask me things with simple answers such as, yes or no, which I responded with either a nod or a shake of my head. Then again, while doing this, I feel like I shouldn't act too intelligent. I should pretend to be a bit dumb at times, not knowing a few things because it would be too weird for me to understand all the complicated words. Sometime later, they asked me things such as if I knew who they were, and I pointed at them, trying to talk. Ma. Ma. Pa. Hearing me try to talk, the two of them turned red, as if they resembled tomatoes. Both of them seemed to burst in joy when they heard me call them like this. You. Sylphie. Yes. I'm your papa. My precious little princess. You already know that I am Mama. I nodded in response. For quite a while after that, they continued to shower me with affection, so much so that I felt tired and rested over the crib, falling asleep. My body is so small that I even get tired from just sitting. While I slept, I sometimes heard my parents talk. Surprisingly, they were still talking about me. By the time the sun was already setting into the horizon, I heard them speak while having a meal. It seems like she's a strong fire mage. At such an age she can already conjure a fireball. I can't imagine how strong she would become at a later age, my mother could not help but say. It wouldn't be surprising if she might be more talented than both of us combined by the time she reaches her teens, my father said in response. I doubt indeed if she inherits my magic as well, then not only would she become an amazing sorcerer, but she'd also turn into a great healer, my mother replied. She would be unbeatable, they said at the same time. Now. I think you're exaggerating this a bit too much. In a few more years, we can begin some basic training for her so she can get better at magic control. Indeed, you could also show her the way of the sword. I don't know if she'll like it though. She's a girl. What about it? There were 2 girls in our party that used blades as well, you know. But my blade is enormous, you know. Then again, I suppose some basic swordsmanship would do. Are they planning on making me into some sort of ultimate killing machine or something? I decided to just forget about it because it would only happen after multiple years and decided to continue sleeping. With these 2 strong parents, I guess I don't have to worry so much about my safety and that of theirs. I could, perhaps, finally live a leisurely life. Now, back to sleep. It hurts. It hurts so much. What is it? Help. Who's talking? I suddenly found myself in a completely dark space. Wasn't I sleeping earlier? Before I could process what was happening, in front of me, I noticed a faint light. At the moment, it was flickering, as if it was going to fade away anytime soon. It hurts. It always hurts. It was the voice of a young girl. Chapter 5 You are listening at novelfull.audio. The voice of the system while I slept, the voice of a girl whispered to me. And within the darkness of my dreams, I noticed a faint glowing light. I slowly walked towards that voice, hoping to find its origin. This light was white, resembling a tiny flame with strands of light surrounding it. It hurts. Whatever this was, it seemed to be in pain. Then again, it was kind of obvious from how it spoke. I moved near the origin of the voice, wanting to check on it. I didn't know what it was, but I was incredibly curious. What are you? Are you okay? As I reached up to it, the glowing white flame that seemed to die off at any moment began to glow a bit brighter. It seemed to calm down when I touched it. Hello. It hurts. Host. You're host. I'm host. Don't call me that. It makes me feel like you're a parasite or something. I am. The system. This tiny white light is that thing named the system. I can't believe it. But I remember it having the shape of a cube before. What happened to that? Ugh, so many questions, but she doesn't seem willing to answer all of them. In any case, it doesn't hurt to try. Can you tell me more about you? And why do you feel hurt? I am. System number 0. I am the first creation of my master and father, whose true name is unknown to me. I feel pain due to my flawed creation. My own existence is flawed. Badly made. It hurts to exist. So, you were created by that asshole. Wait a minute. You're number 0. Why is your existence flawed? Badly made. I was constructed without prior knowledge and experience. Hence, my existence has many errors. Is there a way I can help you out? Why? Why do you want to help me? Well, we're in this together. I might as well try to find a way to help you out somehow. The little white light seemed to look at me before continuing to speak. There is a way. I require external energy. I had extracted from my creator. But he cut off my connection to him. Father has rejected me. Are you serious? He actually discarded you. What kind of energy do you need? External. Due to my errors. A strange capability has been created where individual health point and mana point values are frozen. Therefore, there seems to be unlimited quantities of this energy. Nevertheless, external energy from anything, may it be souls or corpses, can be used as surplus to fuel my capabilities. Through them, it could be possible to fix errors. It was becoming increasingly harder for her to speak. Get energy to fix errors. Gotcha. Unfortunately, I'm a baby right now. Are you okay with waiting for a bit? My capabilities can function without surplus energy. But I am stagnant. I can wait. Is there a way to ease your pain while we wait? I don't know. I've always lived with pain. Since she says that, wouldn't she eventually get used to it? Then again, it still hurts her a lot. Thinking of ways to help ease the pain she felt, I extended my ethereal hands over the tiny white light, hugging her. Sorry about this. But I guess the only thing I can do is ask you to be strong. Can you do that for me? I looked down as the flames seemed to flicker a bit. I guess this body I have right now might be a part of my soul or something. I can. You sure? Do you like my hug? Can you feel it? I do. You're such a good girl. Don't worry, we can get through this together. Thanks. I decided to keep hugging this little vulnerable and weak light for as much as I slept. During this sleep, I asked her about various things, and she would answer whatever she knew. She said this guy that created her was named a god of transmigration, using his expertise over souls to send souls into other worlds that were in dire help for an otherworldly soul experienced in the isekai genre, or whatever. While doing so, he gave them a system that he made, which varied in functions and features depending on the necessity. With that being said, she was crafted as the first system. She told me she was a primitive leveling and class system with nothing else going for her. Her main function was to help me extract energy from the souls and bodies of the living beings I slay and add it to my body and soul, effectively earning EXP. After a certain threshold occurs, I can level up. But this is useless. Why? Well, she said that a part of the glitch within her root was that my status had been frozen. Meaning that it can't go up. Nor down. Naturally, it was strange to think about. But since my status is frozen, I cannot develop my physical or magical capabilities through the system. In exchange, I effectively have endless mana and I guess I'm also an immortal. She told me that this glitch ended up becoming a root of my soul, so even if she was fixed, it might remain. Which I don't mind at all. Is it possible for myself to develop outside the system? I will still slay monsters, or whatever for you to slowly recover through their EXP. There should be ways. I don't know much about this world. But the rest of the living beings here don't possess a system. They develop their power through mana manipulation and superhuman strength. I see. I guess I should get to know how I can do that with the aid of my parents. I apologize. Because of me being a failure of an existence, the system is intervening with your own natural talents due to locking your usage of capabilities and inner power to the system interface. In other words, it will take you perhaps several times the effort to learn something new, she sighed. Oh. Well, I'm a hard worker, so I really don't mind it that much, I replied. Really? Indeed. As long as I can have a second chance, I will make sure to live it till my heart's content. I can't wait to grow up and explore this strange world, to be honest. Oh, and of course, you'll come along with me. Thank you, she said in response to my words. Don't worry about that. We're both failures here, I guess. We gotta look out for each other. Yeah. Chapter 6. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. I want to got out. Ever since that day I spoke with the system in my sleep, I have been visiting her every night through my dreams. Surprisingly, I began to learn many things from her. For someone that was deemed a failure, the amount of info she had accumulated was definitely a lot. From her, I found out that the God that reincarnated me was seemingly in charge of many other worlds, so it sounded like I might not even be the only victim here. I don't know if I necessarily want to do any harm to him, though. He had done nothing relatively bad to me to the point of me wanting to. I don't know, slay him or something. And it's not like I could realistically ever slay a god, to be honest. If I wanted to live a slow life and start again in this new life, I don't really want to set incredibly lofty goals. We have to be as realistic and pragmatic as possible. Then again, I would love to give him a brief reprimand. But that will have to wait for whenever that could even become a thing. While talking with her, she also gave me a brief explanation about my current status. And yes, it was frozen, which meant that until she was almost fully fixed, it wouldn't be possible to unfreeze it. According to her, my stats can't go up nor down. If I level up, my stats won't go up as intended, and the energy would instead be wasted. Well, to be more exact, she had already set up a way to siphon it, allowing her to accumulate the EXP as surplus energy and utilize it to fix herself. However, having endless mana and possibly being immortal was a good trade-off. Even if my natural talents were suppressed because this thing forced me to use the abilities inside it. Oh right, my whole status is frozen, which means I also can't learn new skills or anything of the sort. I'm permanently locked with what I was born with. Well, it's not like anything changed. Then again, it's not like I can't grow outside of it, right? She did say it was possible if I put 1,000 times the effort of a normal person. Haha. Alright. Well, I have 2 talented parents here, so maybe it wouldn't be that hard. With that, I will try to exert as much effort as I possibly can. However, abusing my own skills is also something I should think about. I was only born with these 4 skills, so I have to abuse them to my heart's content and find ways to exploit them using my infinite mana. Though, there's something else that's bothering me right now. My status as of now is that of a baby, but it's already fixed. Does that mean I will stay as a baby forever? She answered me quickly through a dream. No, the system limits you within your soul. Although your stats are locked, your body will naturally mature. Then again, as a half-elf, you have an incredibly long lifespan. You might take longer to mature into adolescence and adulthood as a result, she explained. I see. But my strength will be that of a baby even as an adult. As I said before. Although the system is very oppressive, you can still develop outside of it by putting in tons of effort. In other words, although you won't be able to see it in the status, your muscles can develop and grow stronger. Your magical power can also grow. There are ways to make it easier. Such as magic equipment. They increase stats as long as you have them on. You could use them to your advantage when you grow up as well, she said. Oh. You're right. I guess whenever I can get to walk, I'll start some hellish training to develop my muscles. Though, now that I think about it, even with infinite HP, I still get tired. Why is that? Both your body and soul get tired. That's because of the immense power these 2 abilities of endless HP and MP exert over your body. Your stamina should naturally increase as you mature. Your body and soul might get more used to this power as time passes. So that's how it is. After many explanations, a few weeks had gone by, almost a month since the fireball incident. I had been spoiled by my parents, but I had already begun to be capable of crawling a bit. Naturally, I'm practicing diligently every day. Even as the baby girl I am now, I can finally move a tiny bit. I crawl around as fast as possible, but it's still somewhat difficult. Well, I do whatever I can. I have yet to find a way to crawl outside the crib, though. Then again, I still reach it by crawling and moving it as if I was asking them to free me. Mother noticed me after a while as she walked towards me. Her pointy ears were so cute, I wanted to touch them. "What's wrong, sweetie? Want a ride? Come here, my little princess." With that, she grabbed me with her arms and carried me around, kissing my cheeks and forehead occasionally, even singing a lullaby I've heard a dozen times already. I began to touch her long ears, which were longer than mine. "Fufufu, you like these long ears? It's the distinctive feature of us elves. It helps us hear things better in the denseness of the vast forest we originate from. An elf's hearing is unparalleled amongst all other races," she told me. Sometime later, she moved near a large mirror. With that, I looked at her and me. Ooh, I was finally able to see my reflection. I was so small. I really am a chubby baby. I even had fat cheeks. My eyes were emerald, quite brighter than I imagined them. And my hair, which had grown a bit more, was bright red like my father's. My ears were considerably longer than a human's ears, a telltale sign that I was only half-elf. After a bit, I began pointing at the door. "Ha! You want to go out? But it's dangerous." "Ma." "Fine." Seeing as she could not reject her daughter, she opened the door and showed me the outside world. A beautiful scenery quickly showed up to me, allowing me to gaze at the boundless and blue skies. Seas of white clouds, a bright and shiny sun atop the heavens, large snowy peak mountains far into the horizon, large grasslands blossoming with white flowers, and a gentle breeze to top it all off. There was a large lake and a few rivers in front of us, while some cows and horses were eating grass around it peacefully. To the left, there was Dad into the distance, working on vast fields of crops. Noticing that we were outside, he waved his hand at us. He was shirtless and, oh my, he was hot. "Say hello to Papa, sweetie." In response, I waved my tiny hand. My father noticed this as he smiled and began moving here. There didn't seem to be any other house around the place though. It was just this single large cabin in the middle of a grassland. To the far right, there was a large and dense forest. I wonder what might be inside there. However, as father got near us, a large shadow suddenly emerged from the skies, covering everything. I looked up and found an enormous red-scaled lizard with long wings and a fiery aura rushing down here. Wait, what? Chapter 7. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The might of a retired hero. As mother took me out of the house to admire the beauty the surroundings could offer, a shadow above the skies soon emerged, cutting it short. As it arrived, we looked above to find what seemed to be a giant flying lizard. It didn't have wings on its front limbs like birds, but it had a second pair of limbs over its shoulder. It was covered in red scales that gave off a metallic luster. It possessed sharp black claws, an enormous pointy head with a sharp black horn on top of its snout, 6 eyes that were red-colored, a long tail with a sharp spear-like tip, and a furious yet fiery presence. I felt like I was about to faint out of pure horror after seeing it. This creature exuded such a tremendous quantity of mana it seemed completely impossible to me. At this point, I could not help but wonder if my parents could even match this thing. Perhaps they hid their mana at all times. Then again, unlike my parents, this one doesn't. Not long after, it flapped its wings as it released storms that blew away several flowers near us. Ugh, I think I'm about to faint. A red dragon. Ah. Sylphie. Seeing my current condition, mother quickly emanated her saintly presence, her domain quickly encompassing my body. Having it cover me makes me feel relieved and safe. Ugh, that was close. Roar. Wait. Did she just say a red dragon? A dragon. As in dragons from mythology. While we were in our own worlds, the monstrous creature spanning at least 30 meters tall slowly began to descend. During that time, Father stared at it. Grueror. Where is the legendary hero? I have come to fight him. Oh, that must be me. You stupid uncivilized lizard. You dare make my little girl almost faint. Holy arrow. However, before Father could make a move, Mother decided to act first. In an instant, she waved her hands as a gigantic 20-meter-long arrow made out of holy light emerged out of absolutely nowhere. She then shot it out at such a speed that even I wasn't able to follow. Cleowas. The powerful arrow quickly reached the red dragon, hitting its chest before exploding into a deadly shockwave. Boom. Ugrarag. It hurts. Oh wow. The dragon immediately groaned in agony as it quickly fell to the ground. Now, there's a big wound in the middle of its chest while bleeding out everything its body could bleed. As expected of my wife, my father said, giving my mother a thumbs up in response to her attack. Finish that thing off, my mother indifferently replied, her anger becoming more palpable with every second. My father smiled bitterly in response. Wait a second. Did I just sense a shiver run through his spine? Ungai. Ag. S. Such magical power. And speed. A single magic arrow possesses such intensity to penetrate through my magic-resistant scales, the red dragon roared, slowly standing up as Father walked towards him. Alright, man. This is your first and last warning from me. If you want to get out of here alive, feel free. If not, prepare yourself to become our dinner, Father said to the dragon with a serious expression on his face. My father looked so badass. He walked so calmly towards such a terrifying and gigantic beast. Not long after, he generated his own domain, a domain of infernal flames quickly spreading throughout all his surroundings. It seemed as if everything around him had turned into the image of hell itself. His eyes flashed with fiery orange and red flames. Even his hair grew longer and waved upwards. Also, did his muscles just get bigger? Such tremendous power. In his current state, he far surpasses the dragon in strength. Yet all this time, he was hiding it. The dragon, however, confronts him with a smile. He barely stood up as my mother squinted her eyes in response to its move. Tough lizard. She muttered. At this moment, the lovely personality I knew from my mother was replaced with one filled with murderous intent. Wow mother, you're scary. Ha 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 ha. That this is it. My whole life I have been looking for a true challenge, one where my life is on the line. And finally. I've finally found it. Now, hero, the one that defeated the Demon King, prepare yourself to fight the fourth son of the Dragon King, Ignatius Dragofire. Surprisingly, the dragon still had the energy to introduce himself. While that was happening, his draconic and fiery aura emerged from his body like a stream of flames. My father's flames, however, were bigger and stronger. In a short time, he waved his hands as a gigantic red and orange blade materialized out of his fire before holding it with a single hand. This thing was over 5 meters long while still being incredibly thick. It resembled a piece of metal. In fact, it looked more like a metal plate in the shape of a sword now that I look at it again. And it shone so brightly it could even pierce the heavens themselves. My father had a confident smile as he listened to the dragon's monologue. Soon, a murderous intent emerged from his fiery eyes as if he had changed from his clumsy and cute nature with me into a pure killing machine. Watch closely, dear. This is your father's might, mother said to me, a malicious smile emerging on her lips, contrasting with her pure elven appearance. It has been a while since I fought, I may be a bit rusty actually, he said, jumping towards the dragon. Right away, both clashed in the heavens as thunderous sounds began to resonate everywhere as countless storms of flames began to expand across the skies. The clouds quickly dissipated as flames turned the sky red. Clash. 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 Boom. 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 I couldn't even see what's going on at this point. I could only hear the roars of the dragon, their attacks impacting one another, and then, a single powerful slicing sound, the sound that would only come out when you sliced through something very tough. Slayawasish. Ugrairag. The dragon groaned in agony as the fight finally ends. The skies quickly return back to their original appearance as I see the dragon's head fall over the grasslands, painting the surroundings red. Father soon descended alongside the body, jumping over it as he let the gigantic blade rest over his shoulder. Phew, that was a fine exercise. Let's have dragon meat for dinner. I bet Sylphie will like it, he said. What the hell is this? My father just killed a mythical creature like a dragon as if it was nothing. Gah. Papa. Strong. I muttered. Right. Papa is very strong. I wouldn't have chosen him if not for that, Mother said in response to my words. Yeah. So. She chose him because he was strong. I guess that's how this world works. If you see a dragon casually flying through the skies, then strength is everything to survive here. With the battle done, Mother headed towards Father by flying closer to him in a flash of light with me, kissing his face afterward. Well done. Let's butcher it into smaller parts. I want to give the dragon's heart to Sylphie. The fresher, the better. Oh, good idea. Chapter 8. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is it okay to feed dragon meat to a baby? With the two of them deciding on what to do with the dragon's corpse, Mother eventually brought me back to my crib because she didn't want me to see something as gross as butchering the dragon. She told me it could traumatize me in the future or something. As if seeing its sliced head fall from the skies was not traumatizing already. Fortunately, my mind is that of my mature self of my previous life. In other words, I don't think anything can really traumatize me. To be honest, I was feeling something more along the lines of shock, but thanks to Mother's magic, I quickly felt better. Ugh, just seeing this battle exhausted me, though. Without thinking about it too deeply, I ended up falling asleep. While sleeping, I somewhat woke up sometimes, hearing my parents talking. Is Sylphie all right? Yes, dear. I put her to sleep after the whole thing. I think seeing the fight took too much of a toll on her. Oh, maybe we shouldn't have let her see the fight. No, it's fine. The sooner she sees this type of stuff, the better. But still. It's fine, it's fine. It's not like we're going to throw her into battle or something. Right. Anyways, what about that Dragon King? I thought he wouldn't annoy us after we defeated the Demon Lord. Indeed. But he had close ties with him after all. It was in my expectations that dragons would eventually come here. How did he know of our location, though? This is bad. If more come, it'll become a pain in the head. Indeed. In any case, I let him pass through the barrier because it was a good opportunity to eat dragon meat and give Sylphie her first taste of dragon heart. Oh, bathing her in the dragon's blood would also be good for her endurance. At such a young age, it's bound to make her stronger. Don't you think that's a bit too much? How can we bathe our own girl in blood? Foo-foo. Don't mind it, don't mind it. I don't think she'll mind as long as we do it while she's sleeping. Fine. I guess it's for the greater good. She has to grow stronger before the next demon lord is created by the world anyway. Indeed. We have to take good care of our girl. She'll surely change history in the future, just like we once did. For now, let's enjoy every little day. I'm too tired of fights, deaths and wars. I just want to relax. Me too, honestly. Now, let's make some stew. Speaking of food, can you grill a few steaks? Oh, and make some skewered meat as well. Alright. How odd. I barely understood half of what they spoke. Apparently, Mother had some kind of barrier around the house, but she let the dragon enter so we could eat it. Really, Mother? And that dragon came from the Dragon King, who had close ties to the Demon Lord. That I do not know the identity of. The only thing I know is that my parents defeated it. Father mentioned he participated in wars. Perhaps he and Mother are in retirement now and just don't want to fight anymore. They said something about the world creating another Demon Lord. Why? The world has sentience. For what reason would it create a Demon Lord? Ugh, so many mysteries, yet I don't want to ask them because they'll be suspicious of me being so eloquent at speaking and everything. I better make it seem as if I'm just a genius slowly developing my personality. I'm also going to be bathed in dragon blood, apparently. It doesn't sound so bad, to be honest. Maybe I'll actually enjoy it. Plus, she said I can get stronger from it alongside eating the dragon heart. As I woke up and sat on my crib, I sensed a delicious smell. The smell of delicious meat being roasted and grilled. Ah! It's been a while since I ate meat. Then again. As a baby, can I even properly eat meat? Ugh! But the smell. Smelling that, I decided to wake up for real and make a little fuss. Ma! Ma! My parents quickly noticed me and ran towards me after hearing me make noise. Good timing, dearie. It's time for dinner. My mother grabbed me and quickly sat me down over her lap, presenting me an enormous feast of dragon meat. Will she be able to properly digest things as a baby? My father asked as he grabbed a skewer of meat for himself, quickly biting down on it. At the very least she should be able to eat the minced dragon heart meat in the stew. I made it just for her. I added a lot of blood into it as well. Here dearie. After saying that, Mother began to spoon-feed me with the delicious dragon heart stew. It was so flavorful and hot. Way too hot. Then again, it wasn't really a problem. Mother was constantly bathing me with healing magic, so it felt like nothing to me. I devoured everything quite quickly. In fact, I even felt like my metabolism was augmented. What I ate quickly turned into energy in an instant. And my body soon began to overflow with a red aura. Ooh! You're using that spell to help her digest. Good work. Indeed. Enhanced Metabolism is a Tier 8 spell that can easily enhance the metabolism of someone. In battle it can make you thrice as strong, but it also enhances the other body functions, such as digestion, blood flow, and other similar functions. If I couple it with Rest, a Tier 7 spell that heals exhaustion from the body, its side effect is easily taken away. Fufu, now, Sylphie.Chan, want more? Ma. My mother was a genius. She used these spells to help me eat and digest as much food as I wanted. She quickly began to give me more stew, alongside the dragon brain made into croquettes, small pieces of dragon steak, and even a piece of dragon tongue's meatloaf. It was all so tasty, no matter the body part. Who knew dragons could be a heavenly delicacy? As I continued eating, my body continued to be strengthened. In fact, I could even feel like my muscles, senses, and mana was increasing exponentially. Nothing emerged in my status, but I could feel that this was a way to grow stronger outside the system, and a pretty cheat-like method at that. Chapter 9 You are listening at novelfull.audio. A strong baby with a feast of various dragon meats laid out, I ate so much that I felt like I was going to pass out. Well. To be honest, I did, indeed, pass out. Once I gained a bit of consciousness, I was inside this black space where the system was. Ugh, I think I ate way too much. It seems so. Do you feel any change in my body? The glowing mass of light flew around me curiously. Of course, this light was the system. Yes. Your body has grown stronger, even as a baby. It's incredible. What eating a dragon might do. Oh, did you get any EXP from it? I did. Watching a fight from afar helped. It seems that your parents count as party members. When we saw your father fight and defeat the dragon, I gained a very large amount of energy. That's interesting. So, we can gain EXP even if we don't do anything. Well, I can't use it to strengthen myself though. But this energy helped. I feel more relieved. A dragon gives a lot. Even if you didn't defeat it yourself. Is there a difference between EXP earned by things I kill and things my party members kill? Yes. You only get 20% of the EXP that your party members gain. I see, I see. I guess I could ask mother and father to carry me around more often whenever they go hunting. Anyways, how's my body? What about my soul? Your soul gained a large amount of magic power. On the other hand, your body had been strengthened a lot. You've also been bathed in the dragon blood while you were sleeping, so your skin has turned as hard as dragon scales. I didn't know it was that easy to grow overpowered. Well. Remember that it takes a dragon. A creature like that is not easy to slay. You're right. How many times compared to my previous self have I grown stronger then? It's hard to calculate. Because the system is frozen. Oh well. I feel like this is just cheating. You had a hard life before. Wouldn't being strong help you have the relaxed life you desire? Right. In any case, this power doesn't seem to be in any way comparable to your parents'. On top of that, you still have to learn how to use it properly. Even more, you still need a lot of effort to understand this new power you've acquired. Sadly, the system is bugged, so I can't help you there. You're talking more eloquently now. It seems so. It's all because of your help. Talking with me every night is slowly making me develop. The energy of the dragon has allowed me to fix some errors as well, so I might be a bit better than before. Still feel pain. Not so much now. Good to know. Don't push yourself too hard, make sure to rest. Thanks. Once the next day arrived, I woke up like I was bursting with energy. Mother gave me a warm normal bath this time after she changed my diapers. Sylphie, you've grown stronger now. I can feel it in your presence. Your little arms now feel as hard as rock, my mother said, gently squeezing my fatty baby arms. Strong. Indeed. Here, grab this. Can you crush it? Mother suddenly gave me a rock after that, placing it in the palm of my little hand. In response, I closed my hand and pressed on the rock with a lot of strength. Nnnggh crack. Crash. The rock slowly cracked before falling into 4 pieces. It wasn't completely pulverized into dust, but it was destroyed nonetheless. With tiny baby hands at that. Wow. Amazing. That's at least the strength of a tier 4 superhuman. Fufufu, I knew letting that dragon enter our territory was a good idea, my mother said soon after, laughing mischievously. Typho superhuman. Indeed. There are many tiers in how we categorize the power of a person that has surpassed the common sense in levels of power. Physical strength and magical power are tiered similarly. For physical fighters, they have weapon arts, techniques, physiques, and more. As a counterpart, we magicians have spells, incantations, runic tattoos, and magical spiritual souls. What? I don't get it. However, we usually mix it up as there's very few cases of people that can only be one of the two. Then again, there are more physical fighters as magic is complex to learn unless you're born in a mystic race such as elves. Can you repeat that? I don't get it at all, mother. I tried to ask her further, but she stopped talking about it, thinking that I didn't understand anything. Well, just for the record, mother, I was trying to understand. Well, you're too little to understand any of this dumb stuff, so for now, let's clean you up and put you into a cute little dress. Today, we'll go take a trip around the farm. Daddy wants you to see him work, my mother told me after my unsuccessful attempts to ask her to continue. Dada. In any case, this is actually interesting. I've always wanted to see my father out in the fields. And his amazing six-pack. Oh. You're that excited to go meet him in the farm. Foo-foo. With that, mother quickly cleaned me and dried my body. Afterwards, she put on some new diapers on me before putting clothes on top of it. This time, a little white shirt and a beautiful green and white dress which seemed to have plant and tree-like decorations was what I wore. Such beautiful red hair. It's very rare for elves to have this hair color, you know. Mother praised my hair color which came from father as she began to groom it gently. After the bath, it was very silky and soft. Afterwards, she formed two pigtails in my hair, which had grown long enough, and I looked incredibly cute. What the hell? I wasn't this pretty before. Yua. Sylphie, you look so cutie. Mother began to pamper me some more, caressing my head, kissing me a bit, all the while carrying me in her arms. Soon after, I was greeted by the beauty of the outside world once more as she began to walk across the grass fields. We arrived at the farm where father was planting vegetables as we both checked the place out. After some time, I found out something, these plants didn't look normal. Oi, don't run away. My father roared at a radish with legs that was screaming and running, making its way towards us. A radish with legs that stood around 1 meter tall, heading towards us. Ha! Wait a second. What? Gryuyu. Chapter 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Abusing the glitch. A giant radish standing 1 meter tall rushed towards us while moving its root-like legs. To be honest, to me, it looked so hysterical as it seemed like it was running away for its life. Jiao. Nevertheless, it ran directly towards us. Looks like the perfect time to test out my new power. I quickly pointed my palm at the radish as I used Ember, and then, I continuously used it over 100 times. Ember, 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 Ember. Flash. A large fireball spanning 2 meters wide soon emerged after many tiny flames fused together. While that was happening, Mother could not help but raise her eyebrows as she watched me use my ability with great surprise. Bah! I roared as much as a baby girl could, throwing the large fireball with all my might. Go, fireball! Flayawas! The fireball quickly flew through the wind as it hit the screaming radish not long after. Gry! Boom! Dead! Just like that. Oh! Amazing, Sylphie, my mother quickly praised me. Fufufu. But of course. It's still not dead, though, my father said in response. Gaigya. The radish, which I thought had died from the blast of flames, suddenly got up after father was finished talking. It was a bit roasted, but it was alive all right. What kind of radish is this? It can actually take a giant fireball to the face. However, rather than making a move to end the radish's life, mother and father stood where they were and didn't do anything. Ah! I get what they're trying to do. They want to use this opportunity to see if I can do it myself. Alright then. How about I show you too that I can actually pack a punch? Grai. The radish rushed towards us as it suddenly generated several spikes through magic, firing them at us like wooden spikes. Shit. A barrier. Come on. Visualize Ember 100 times, then form a flame barrier. Mana usage, do your thing. As I thought about this, several tiny flames suddenly emerged one after another in front of me at an incredible speed. Flash. Now. Condense. Womb. Oh. A fire barrier, my mother said in surprise. Boo. And then, infuse as much mana as I can to reinforce it. Flash. Trum. The fire barrier suddenly grew more solid once I did that. Now that I think about it, all of this happened in just a split of a second. I don't know how it happened, but my thought process has become incredibly fast after eating the dragon. Maybe the dragon brain enhanced my mental capacity. Clash. 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 The wooden spikes shot by the radish soon reached the fire barrier, colliding with it as dull thud sounds resounded. Several cracks emerged on it, but fortunately, it barely resisted through the attacks. Graia. The radish looked at me scornfully. It was very pissed right now, going so far as to make an ugly face. Come out. Show me what you got. I taunted. Gray. Hearing my baby speech, the radish got super angry. Then, it rushed at us, wanting to pulverize me with a kick of its large legs. Not happening, buddy. Now that I'm learning the knack of this, I have to restrain this agile fighter first. Let's make a fire whip this time around. Come out, Ember. Ember, 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 Ember. I used Ember over 100 times in just a second, before unifying all these flames into a long spiraling flame, a whip. I grasped the whip with my tiny baby hand and then, I moved it towards the radish in midair, which was about to fall over me. Clash. Graia. The radish panicked as my whip wrapped around its body. Gotcha. Boohoo. My father seemed impressed. Amazing fire whip. Now Sylphie, use the power of the fire to slice it into grilled pieces, my mother soon requested out of nowhere. Wow mother, calm down. But alright. I pressed the whip with a lot of power while infusing it with my mana. Geek. The radish released a strange cry as my fire whip wrapped around its body and then, it sliced it into pieces. Splat. Boom. The flames expanded more than I thought it would. Thanks to that, the fire whip quickly disappeared. Looks like I need more practice. However, the fire didn't hit us as there was an invisible magic barrier mother had conjured around us. I guess we were never in real danger. She just let me handle it to see how strong I was. Father rushed towards us as he and mother congratulated me. Amazing work, Sylphie, my mother said. Indeed, outstanding work. To think that you're so tiny yet you can do such things, father said in response, nodding in agreement. Dada. I guess she wants you to carry her, my mother said. In response, father grabbed me from mother's embrace. Sylphie, do you like being with your father? I nodded in response. Haha. Such a delight this girl is. Alright, let me show you around the farm. Don't worry, it's usually rare for the vegetables to walk around. But the dragon's death left a lot of mana in the environment, so the magic plants we eat ended up evolving into monsters, my father soon explained. So, such a thing happened. You're telling me that this world is so crazy that normal plants can one day just start walking, conjure magic, and try to kill you? That sounds terrifying. Moving that aside, father led me around the farm and showed me all sorts of plants. There were things I had never seen before such as weird, red, colored carrots with eyes. There were also tomatoes with all of the colors in the rainbow, apples that were as golden and shiny as actual gold, and even a large spring with glistering water that they called the spiritual spring fountain, which they used to water the plants. It seems that the sweet-flavored baby food that mother gave to me was made out of these fruits for the most part. Maybe they had been strengthening me from the start without me knowing. Then again, I'm sure they didn't move around. Plus there were also a few normal fruits. I won. I pointed at the golden apple hanging from a tree. In response, Father took one and offered it to me. But Sylphie, you don't have teeth yet, he sighed. Whoa. Don't worry, I'll grind it into baby food. It's about time we gave her more magical fruits. Now that she has built her foundation with the dragon meat, it should be viable for her to increase her magical prowess through the consumption of Eden apples, Nirvanic tomatoes, and ambrosia fruit, Mother told Father. The what? The names they have are quite strange.